Well, hey, book lovers, welcome back to another of our live book cover design live streams. Today, we are creating, and I'm so excited for this, a Nutcracker-inspired wintry type cover, and you get to help me make decisions while we're live on air. So we're looking at kind of like this ballerina-y type girl. We've got maybe a snow globe. We've got some wintry things going on, and we're going to build this together. So start thinking of a title. Start thinking of some of the elements, if we're going to be changing some of her wardrobe, all those fun, fabulous things, and let's dive in and actually create this together. Today, we are using Photoshop CC. We are using a Wacom Intuos Pro editing tablet. So this is it kind of works like a mouse, but it's like a pen. It's more ergonomical. And I am using my blue light blocking glasses so I don't burn my eyes out as I am working. And if you're jumping in, I want to hear from you. Let me know where you're joining me from as we chat today. So the first thing that I am going to be doing is to actually add in my ballerina here. And so I absolutely love this coloring, and I'm thinking we are going to maybe change up a little bit of this coloring because I'm thinking more of like a light vibe. So right now I'm just using the quick selection tool, and I am just kind of lassoing in anywhere that it did not grab. You guys know when we do this, sometimes it gets really clean lines. Sometimes it does not, and we have to come in and do it manually. So I am just toggling between my Shift key and my Option key. Option removes it. It's kind of like that negative symbol there, and then Shift adds it back in. So I'm just looking to kind of see if it got the basics of this. I'm going to have to come in and I'm going to have to refine this a little bit. There's definitely going to be an edge to this, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut that out. And that's actually not too terrible. Hey, Alex from Virginia, I'm excited to see you. We are creating kind of a nutcrackery type cover today. So I'm just zooming in right now, and I'm using a hard round brush on black, and I'm just painting off on the layer mask. So I've got a layer mask. Oh, because my opacity's down, that's why. I've got a layer mask on here so that it's non-destructive. So anything I do, if I accidentally gotta go across her body where I don't want it, I can actually go ahead and fix that without it being destructive. It didn't just ruin what we were doing here. And I'm just looking for anything that's like pixelated, like a pixelated edge, or anything that looks kind of halo-y. So we know we had some light coloring around her from those lights. We're just taking care of that right here. And we are just going the duration of her arm, or the length of her arm, and just cleaning this up a little bit. And this is going to be, we're going to have to do some refining when we get those light colorings in there as well, unless we keep her on the dark. Maybe we will. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I am just right now just kind of going around and just getting rid of any of the halo effect around her hair right now, which we'll add in some hair in a bit. Cut out her hands pretty clean. That's not bad at all. And that's clean enough for me to work with at the moment. Once we get that background in there, I'm going to go in and do some refining of it. But I would say we're pretty good for the moment. You thinking we should change some skirt colors? Oh, I like it. I like it. Do me a favor. What is PFP? I know it's a TikTok term, and I know I looked it up at one point, but off the top of my head, while I'm also editing, I am totally blanking on what PFP is. Yeah, help me out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in the globe next, just so you guys can kind of see what we're working with. So I've got this snow globe here. We're going to add some actual snow into it, but you can kind of see it's got that outliney look right there. And then it really comes to, am I going with a lighter background or a darker background? Am I putting her inside of the snow globe or behind the snow globe? I'm not sure yet, but go ahead and let me know what you guys are thinking as we're jumping in. Hey, Danielle, Christina, excited that you guys are here as we are doing this. Now, I do have a thought, and we're going to try this out. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I kind of have this wintry-ish background here. And I was thinking, I'm not sure yet, but I was thinking of setting my snow globe down right here and kind of having this wintry background, which I will have to build out if that is something that I want. And I actually might try flipping this because I almost have the feeling that I'm going to like the darker side better over here to add in some option to this. So let me just Oh, that's kind of cute. I like that. We might run with that. What do you guys think? Are we liking this so far? I think I am going to clean up a little bit because we do have right at the very bottom corner. If you look at the bottom right corner, I'm not loving that snow line where it looks like we've got some stuff going on here. So I'm just going to come over. I'm going to grab a section of this. I'm just highlighting it. And I am going to just copy that. And I am going to drag that over to kind of conceal that a little bit. Oh, I like that a little bit better. And then I'm just going to put a layer mask on it. I'm going to use a soft round brush, 100% opacity, and I'm just going to blur out those hard lines so that it kind of meshes in a little bit better. Yeah, that's more comfortable. I like that better. So then I'm just going to duplicate that layer, and I'm going to drag it over. And I am just going to transform. So I went to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontally. And I am just going to lay this kind of where it blends in with this here, and then we're going to add a white layer mask, and on the soft round brush 100% opacity I'm going to paint off a lot of it, and you can see how already we're just blending it in. And because we don't see the picture as a whole, I'm not super worried about this right here. I might do a little work on it later, but for now we are pretty good with this. Profile picture. Oh, is that what that is? Okay, I got you. Fantastic. I love that you guys are loving this so far. We're going to do some coloring work, but I think we need to kind of figure out what we're doing with my dancer. So I'm almost thinking, I have two schools of thought with this. I can make her small and put her right inside. Oh, it did not. That did not work properly. Hang on, I gotta fix her arm. What is going on here? Let me grab my hard round brush, 100% opacity. I am gonna zoom right on in here because wow. And we are going to refine this edge. Now that we've got it against a light colored background, you can really see the flaws in this. So I am just kind of cleaning up a little bit around the edge here. I'm gonna clean up very strongly around her fingers and around her hand because we don't want that dark halo there. And we're just refining this edge a little bit, just like that. And it looks like we took off a little bit of her finger, so I'm just going to paint that back in. And we're just refining the edge. And again, we're just removing that halo right around her fingers. I want you to start thinking of a title for this fake book. It can be Nutcracker inspired. It could be wintry inspired. It could be whatever you want it to be, because we get to do whatever we dang well please while we're creating this. If you are an author or a publisher, you can actually buy this while I'm still on air for only $100. This is more than half off of the price on this one when it goes back over to coveraday.com. If you are on our replay or you want to see any of the other pre-made covers or the customized cover options, you can head on over to coveraday.com and learn more. Of course, the terms of service and all the fun things are over there as well, because we got to keep this on the up and up with the legal side of things. And I am just painting back in parts of her face that got taken away, and I'm taking away that halo right around her nose and around her lips. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to paint back in her wrist, and we are just going to add that right back in there. Here we go. There we go. We're just getting rid of the halo right around her, the top of her hand. Is there a word for that? I don't know if there is a word for that. And I'm just going around her wrist again, that bottom part of her thumb, all the way around, and then that inside of her fingers as well. You can kind of see we've got some red glowy light here. We can either implement that into the image, or we can kind of remove that when the time comes. But I want to hear your ideas for those titles. The comments are off to the side, so I can't actually see them as I'm working, so I actually have to pause to read them. So I see things have been coming in. I'm going to check on those in just a minute, but if you have not dropped titles for me, now's the time, friends. Now is the time, because we're going to work on that in just a couple of minutes as we are continuing on with creating this Nutcracker-inspired cover. And we're just taking that away. There we go. Okay. Better. We have fixed. Moving on. Let me zoom back out. There we go. Now we can function again. Checking in with you guys. Outside the snow globe and looking away from it. Lost Ballerina. Winter Dance. Awesome, awesome. Let me go ahead. I am going to, now that I have cleaned that up, I'm just going to duplicate that layer because I want to try something. I have an idea. And I am going to just pop that in there for just a second. That's obviously not where she's going to stay, but I wanted to test some things. So I'm just duplicating this layer. I'm going to drag it down beneath the globe. I'm going to turn the layer back on. So we've got our bigger ballerina and our smaller ballerina. And we could, I don't know what oh. Hey, that's cute. I like that. Okay. I changed my mind on what I was going to do. Okay, so we're going to leave her right here. I like this positioning. We're probably going to have to remove part of her foot there. It's all good. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to remove her from inside of that because I have other things that we can put inside of our globe, specifically speaking of a really cool tree, which I am just going to bring up. And I am going to drop that right there. There we go. Okay, so we can put this really cool, cute little tree right here inside of our globe. I'm actually going to, I think, bring it up so that it's sitting there in the snow. That's a little bit better. What do you guys think? So we've got that so far. I am losing my voice just a little bit, so thanks for bearing with me, guys. And I'm just right now looking for my layer with my dancer on it. There we go. I have created that as a smart object. Now I put a layer mask over it. And so now I'm just going to remove part of that. Nope. Sometimes you can leave things, sometimes you can't. So I just removed the one that was sticking down out of the bottom here. So now we can continue on with what we are doing. And we can add in some other stuff. I'm glad that you are liking that, Christina. The next thing that I want to do, I want to add in some like confetti snow pieces inside of the globe, but also some snow with her in the background. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a layer above the globe. And I am actually going to use a clipping mask to just clip it directly to the snow globe. And then I'm going to go in and I am going to grab my snow and debris brush. And so with this, I can actually go in and I can start adding in snow. Are we playing this game? Oh, this is the game it's playing. Hold on. But, yep. So the clipping mask didn't like cooperating. So I'm going to do it without the clipping mask. And we're just going to seriously add in a bunch of snow here. I'm going to do it on different layers. Some big, some small. And you can kind of see how that fits right in there. And then we're going to add in some snow with her. So I'm actually going to go beneath that globe layer. And I'm going to put a new layer right above my ballerina here. And I'm just going to, on a bigger brush, I'm just going to start painting in some snow pieces here. And we're just going to add that in. Kind of create some snow over her. There we go. There we go. So my next step for sure is going to be to darken up that bottom. So I'm going to actually go down to where I have my ground. And I'm just going to put a new layer and I'm going to say ground shadow because it's important to label our layers or we won't be able to find them. It is a very real problem, let me tell you. And I'm just going to grab my gradient tool, make sure it's set to linear and dark. And then I'm just going to hold my shift button down so that it has that nice consistent line there. And I actually think I might do, yeah, I did a second layer. And then I'm just bringing that back. There we go. I like it. Then I need to do a shadow because this is This is definitely sitting on the ground and we're going to need to do a shadow. So I'm going to grab my radial gradient tool and I'm just going to start kind of going around the base of that. But then I need to go on top of my globe. I'm going to add a new layer with a clipping mask. And I am just going to kind of ground this a little bit. You can see that this is very dark right now. I'm going to lighten the opacity in just a minute. I just kind of want to give a nice even shadow to the lip of this. And so I'm just adding it in different places, and then I just pull down my opacity on that as it starts to kind of round that. And that actually might have been too much. Let me try again. I'm going to try a new layer, and I'm just going to create shadow at different depths. And then I am just going to create another layer, and we're just going to kind of refine that shadowy edge to that. You can see how it kind of starts to put that together as we are going with this. There we go. And one more, because I may actually add some to the side. That's okay. That'll work. So now I actually want to darken down her leg because that is very clearly sticking out. So I'm just looking for my layer with my ballerina. There it is. Sort of labeling it better so I can find it a little bit better. And I'm just clipping masking that right there. And we're just darkening down her leg. And then we're going to reduce that opacity so that it kind of blends that in a little bit better. Which one? A snow globe. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Keep it coming with the titles. Keep it coming with the titles. I'm going to do a little bit of color grading here because I think that could be really fun for us. So I'm going to come in and I am going to, right below my snow globe layer, I'm actually going to add in a curves panel. And I am going to move it over to the blue side. And we're going to make this very winter-y. And then what I'm going to do, because this could be very fun to kind of juxtapose the colors, I'm just going to lasso an area inside of the globe. It doesn't have to be pretty. And I am going to go above that layer. I'm going to grab another curves panel, and I'm going to slide it to the yellow. So I'm going from RGB down to blue and just sliding down to the yellowy side of things. Which, oh, because I clipped it. Duh, of course. We need to unclip that. And then we'll paint it in there. That makes more sense, but we don't want a yellow globe. We just kind of want it tinted. So then on my large, round, soft brush, which I have to go back to, there we go. I'm just going to kind of paint in on that. And you can see how it kind of changes the color of things. That's very yellow right there. That's super yellow, but we kind of yellow-weed that up a little bit. It's a little too much for me, so I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to reduce the opacity on that just a touch. This is pretty cool, right? Wish upon a winter dancer. Ballerina snow globe. I like it. I like it. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. The next thing I want to do is I actually want to add a little bit of detail work. So I added in, and I'm just looking at this real fast to see, because I still have to fit a title in. I still have to put a title in this one. So actually, before I design anything else, let me go ahead and I'm going to grab my author name here, and I'm just going to put this right up at the top so that it's smaller. That's better. We like that. I'm going to make sure it's nice and centered, and then I am going to bring this down, and we'll put a title right down here. And then we'll add in the detail work. So I guess title is next. We're going to work on that. Let's see. Let's go with, as I read these all, Lost Ballerina, the Winter Dance, Wish Upon a Snow Globe, Ballerina Snow Globe, Once Upon a Winter Dance. I like these. I feel like I'm going to use a smaller title for this one just because this takes up a lot of space. So let's go ahead with, oh, you know what? Let's combine things. Let's combine things. We're going to call it The Lost Winter. Oh, and somebody comes in with the Anastasia comments. Okay, friend. Okay. And we actually may change the font, or we may keep that, because this actually kind of works for me. The Lost and then we will add in winter. We do all of our words on different layers so that we can move them and manipulate them where we need to. on the page. And of course, this is going to look different when somebody actually buys this for their book. As I'm over here just kind of changing up. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Sometimes we have to change up things a little bit. The Lost Winter. Yeah, I can run with that. That works. That works for me. Awesome. I love it. I love it. I'm just checking your comments as we go. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to show you some of the other elements that I put in here to potentially be using. Because I have some things that we can be trying. Maybe yes, maybe no. We're going to see if they work or if they don't. I'm just dragging these up to right there. There we go. So the next thing I was thinking, I kind of have these really cool like little holly-y branches, and I was thinking of kind of turning it into almost like a little mini frame type thing. And so I'm just rotating these just a bit so that they kind of work together the way that I need them to, the way that I want them to. And I'm just kind of seeing where this is going to fall into this, where it could potentially work. There we go. And I'm just going to make this a lot smaller. And this is something I can bring up and I can actually put, oh, that's kind of cute. What do y'all think? I'm going to change the coloring, but I kind of like how that sits there. Let me go ahead and put that in a folder, and then I'm going to grab a brightness and contrast panel. I'm going to clip it right onto it, and I'm going to pull up my contrast, and then I'm going to pull up my brightness. And I actually need this to stand out a little bit more, so I'm going to go into layer, down to layer style, down to drop shadow. And I am just going to kind of pull this up. Oh, because it's on the wrong layer. That is why. Hang on, guys. It's going to be weird for just a second. There we go. So let me pull that back up, and now I'm going to pull it back. I had put it on my brightness and contrast layer, not this layer that I actually needed. So let me go ahead and pull that back just a little bit. And now you can see how that kind of stands out just a little bit. Oh, as a little dark on the one side. Let me go ahead and let me pull that up just a little bit more. And I'm gonna just play with that a little. What are you doing? What is this? Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually going to situate it for one side so I have it the way I like it. And I like it that way on the right side. I don't like it on the left side. So then I am going to put that into a folder. I'm going to duplicate it, and I am going to turn off the effect on the top layer. Now on the bottom layer, I'm going to put the layer mask, and on the soft round brush 100% opacity, I'm just going to come in and paint off where I don't like things, those weird little shadows over there that I didn't like and didn't really make sense for what I was creating. And there we go. There we go. That's better. That's better. We're better now. Checking in with you guys. The Last Dance came to mind. True, I feel that. Under the title. Yeah, we could put it under the title too. I think it's going to be a little heavy down there. But we can definitely try and see if that's something that we like. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that in a... Put it in a folder. I'm going to label it. I'm going to duplicate that. And then I'm going to grab that and just drag it down under here. Yeah, I think it kind of drags that down just a little bit. So I think we're going to leave it just on the top for that. But I kind of like how this is. I could even potentially, we could like hang stuff off of that, like little ornaments hanging down. But I'm not going to worry too much about that just yet. I do want to play with my lighting a little bit. Y'all know I love my lighting. So let me go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I am going to go on top of my layers with my titles, and I'm just going to add a, oh no, I'm not, because you know why? I already have a flare. I have a flare ready on standby, y'all. So I'm going to drag this baby right on over, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. You guys know I like my flares, so flares tend to be like standby for me. I feel like I'm going to actually change the color. I don't necessarily love the gold here, so let me try like a bluish tone because we're kind of going wintry-y with this. There we go. That's maybe not the blue that I want. So let me go and try a different blue. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's better. So that makes it a nice little pop. I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to actually drag this up here on top of my globe so that it kind of, yeah, there we go. And then I'm going to drag one up on top of my author name. That, of course, is going to need to be smaller. Whoops. Ha, it moved on me, y'all. And we're just going to tag that in here somewhere. Maybe on the T. This is, of course, going to change with the author name, so it's not super important. And I get it just exactly where I need it because it's going to change anyway. So I'm just kind of coming in and seeing where else I may need a little bit of a flare to kind of make this stand out the way that I want it to. I'm just testing it right now. I'm just testing around the edge of this just to kind of see where it's going to fit best. And we might go down lower. Yeah, maybe down low. So then I'm going to play with my coloring just a little bit. So my next step is going to be, well, actually, let me finish the book. That's what we're going to do first. So I'm going to grab my title, and I'm just going down to the words for my title. I'm going to pop those into a folder, and then I am going to go to Edit, Transform, down to Rotate 90 degrees clockwise. And of course, titles change as spine widths change based on the pages in a book. So this will, of course, be a little bit different when this is purchased and used inside of a story. And then we're just going to grab our author name, and we are going to go ahead, do the same thing, down to Edit, to Transform, to 90 degrees clockwise. And I'm going to bring that right down here. Now I can and will be designing more on the back and on the spine because we want these to look just as pretty as the cover. So we're going to do a little bit of work over here. I am going to grab our design that I didn't like on the front part of that cover, and I'm going to bring that right on over here so that we've got that on the back cover as well. And it looks like I may need to do a little work with that shadow because it's, of course, a little bit different at this point. So I'm going to come in and I am just going to grab the layer mask that is on, and then with my soft brown brush 100% opacity, I am just going to start painting that off in certain places so that it is not super overwhelming. And I am going to lower my opacity and just kind of feather that into the rest of this as well, so that it still stands out the way it needs to, but it's not overwhelmingly dark in certain areas. There we go. I like that. So then I'm thinking I'm probably going to put the snow globe on the spine. So I'm actually going to move my title down just a little bit because I'm going to want to put that up higher. So I am just going to pinch that down. That's as simple as holding the shift button down and just hitting the arrow keys. And then I am going to have to do the globe, which I have since found. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to pop that into a folder. Oh, it doesn't have my tree in it. Hang on. I have to find my tree. Oh, I see what I have done. Come now. There we go. I had to take it out of the folder that I had it in, and now I have to edit properly to the folder. And right to there. There we go. So I'm going to label that globe so that I can find it when I need it. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that, and I am going to then shrink that baby up. And I'm definitely going to have to remove that shadow. So the shadow is going to be moved in just a second, but you can kind of see how I am just popping that right on in there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open that folder up, go down to the bottom, and get rid of wherever that is. What layers am I working on? There we go. That works. And that is definitely not centered in the spine as the spine is. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to move this right on over so that it is centered. I know that the guidelines are very faint right now. but you can kind of see where that is. So I could go in, I could add in more of those like hollyberry-y things. I could put some on the spine if I wanted to, but I think for now I'm actually pretty happy with this. I could potentially add in some sparklies. Let me know. What do you guys think? Should we add in some sparklies? I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a try. So I'm just going to add a new layer. I'm going to grab one of my flare brushes, because you guys know I love my flare brushes, and I'm just doing kind of like a round spiky flare right now. There it is. And I'm 100% white. I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to, that's not it. It's on a low opacity, sorry. There we go. I'm just going to kind of tap in some sparklies just in random places, and then we're going to kind of make that glow. And tap it on, especially over on the spine and the back cover, because they are not quite as interesting as the front cover with all the like pops of red and the pretty colors. So I'm just going to go into layer, down to layer style, down to outer glow. And there we go. Beautiful. So then my only thing that I might want to try is to go above all my layers, grab a brightness and contrast panel, and just bump up my contrast a little bit. And when I say a little, apparently I mean a lot. And I might bump up my brightness just a touch. There we go. So I'm just going to remove my guidelines real fast. I just want to take a look at this. I'm going to say that I like this the way that it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save that. And I want to hear from you guys. What type of cover should we design next week? This is a very fast cover. We got through this really, really fast. But I want to know, what genre should we cover next week? Should we do paranormally Christmassy? Or should we keep going with the Christmassy vibes? Or should we go with other things? Should we do Academy books? Should we do paranormal romance? Should we do dystopian? Should we do what? Let me know your genres. We always vote on Instagram, except for this week, because I saw these and I knew what I wanted to do. So y'all came up with all the things with her behind it and like all the prettiness. But I need to know, should we continue on with our Christmas ones for the rest of December, or should we do some other styles? Let me know in the comments below, and then come vote every single week on Instagram stories to decide which cover we are going to create that day, and then show up and help me make all the great decisions. As always, if you want to buy this while I'm still on air, I'm going to be on for another 30 seconds. You can tell me you're going to buy it and get it for only $100. Otherwise, it goes to coveraday.com, and you can see hundreds of pre-made covers over there, or you can get information on custom covers as well. So make sure you're checking that out and watching all of the replays of the really cool covers that we're creating here on the YouTube page. Paranormal Christmas. Okay, we might have to make that happen. I'm excited. I might start looking for some pieces because that sounds like a fun one to do. And stay tuned because I have some big announcements coming this week on all the social media platforms. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here. As always, I will see you again for our next live cover design next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on the YouTube page. Until then, I hope you all have a great day and stay inspired. Bye, friends.